There are some analysts who make predictions that you can bet your bottom dollar or top dollar that it will do the exact opposite of what they say. However, this particular one, I'm taking just a little bit, just a tiny bit more seriously. I'll explain what I mean as we watch what silver does in July. Let's explore! Silver's price has done fairly well, holding above $36 an ounce for multiple weeks, which has actually surprised me considering that we are in the summer doldrums, as they call it. Silver usually gets smacked down on a Friday, and this past Friday was no exception, no question about it. However, there is some potential good news for silver's price coming. But first, I need to mention a name, and this name is likely going to stir a little bit of controversy here for many, and that is Robert Kiyosaki. Yes, indeed. You know, whenever he speaks or whenever he posts over on his X platform, well, people get a little jaded on his analysis because typically he is an over-the-moon type of guy, and considering what he has done recently, which is grossly irresponsible for his viewers, said that he sold all of his gold and silver, every last ounce, all of it. And then he attempted to explain it away very poorly in an interview that followed. It doesn't really ensue a lot of trust in this individual, but nonetheless, the Economic Times is reporting that Robert Kiyosaki, author of the best-selling personal finance book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, made a striking prediction yet again, which may draw renewed investor focus on silver. Taking to his official handle on the social media platform X, Kiyosaki wrote, "Silver price will explode in July," which means likely it'll probably fall in July. But that's my jaded viewpoint. You know, usually people like Jim Cramer who make some of the same analysis and people don't take him seriously. Usually the exact opposite happens. Kiyosaki describes silver as the best asymmetric buy today, citing it as a high reward to risk potential. Silver is the best asymmetric buy. Asymmetric, that means more possible upside gain with little downside risk. Silver price will explode in July, the author mentioned in his X post. He explained that silver has more possible upside gain with little downside risk. And he added that everyone can afford silver today, but not tomorrow. Well, I disagree with that completely. Silver always has a risk, unless you hold it for the long term. There is downside risk, and it could go down this summer. In fact, I've even said that it is quite possible we could revisit $34 again. I doubt we're going to see much below that, but I don't think we should lose hope in silver if that does happen, but it is a possibility. However, there's other things that are going on that could lead a little credence to his analysis. We're going to get into that in a moment. First, I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals. They have silver products and competitive prices and fast shipping and more importantly, excellent service. One of the fastest growing bullion dealers around. Check them out at summitmetals.com. Now, he's framing his message as a rich lesson. He reminded his followers, your profits are made when you buy, not when you sell. And of course, to equate that with silver, I think is a fool's errand. Because, you know, yes, you can profit with silver, but it's very difficult to do, and you must time it exactly right. Most of us should look at silver as a way to hedge ourselves against other investments out there, and including the falling, depreciating dollar that we find ourselves entrapped by with the Fed and what they're doing these days. And also government spending is a big part of that, and that leads to inflation. And that means that the value of this continues to decrease, and their target at the very least 2%, and likely more. It is more. It's actually ticked up to 2.7% now. So that is what we're looking at here. It is not about making money. It's about preserving the money you already have with sound money. Indeed, that is silver. Having wealth outside of the system is invaluable. And now the timing of his statement has amplified attention on silver's near-term movement, with many now watching closely in July to see if the anticipated surge plays out. Of course, he doesn't really give much reasons behind it. He's really a surface level guy, really does not provide a whole lot of, at least that I can see, kind of analysis, but there is something more to it than really what he's saying here. We're going to get into that. Back home, an analyst tracking the precious metals market are also expecting continued momentum in silver. There's a senior research analyst, Jigar Trivedi, who is a currency and commodities at Reliance Securities, said that silver is emerging as a strong contender amid escalating geopolitical tensions and trade uncertainties. While gold remains a traditional safe haven, he noted that silver is uniquely positioned because of its growing industrial demand, especially in sectors like electric vehicles and solar energy. However, that really does not relate to anything constrained on time, like what's going to be happening in July. That is just macroeconomics and the fundamentals that continue to weigh on silver and cause its price to move up. But he did project that the COMEX silver could rise to $36 to $37 per ounce, while the MCX silver could reach about 1,001. Well, this is priced in, I don't know why they went to rupees here, but anyways, within kilograms in a month. Essentially, you could take that and add it to 30 times $32 or 32 ounces. He attributed the expected gains to be a combination of weak dollar conditions and safe haven inflows, and recommended a diverse allocation with 12 to 15% in silver. But, that still doesn't really get us to the heart of the matter. What's going on here? Why did Kiyosaki make this prediction? Let's see. Well, we go back and we can see what's happening, and there's some people that are talking about what's going to be happening in July. Deliverables. And there's over on the X platform, there's another post. Most deliveries take place within the first few days. July is a major delivery month for silver. And that is something that we'll be looking on the radar to see exactly what's going to be happening with those contracts could be coming due. And there's other analysis on that as well, too, about what's going to be happening in the course of time. The short position on silver, there's a lot of pressure on the price for the shorts positions. And we have another analysis from Rashad Hajivyev, who says that July silver futures contracts on the COMEX rolled over into the next active month of September. Expect both silver and gold to rally from early July into mid-August. $1 million question is whether silver goes to his $60 target by mid-August 2025 or later during the winter. That's a pretty bold prediction too, but something that is a little bit more even-keeled than just saying exploding. But, the thing is that his price predictions, Robert Kiyosaki's, have been wrong so long, and he's always been so bullish on silver that people aren't just taking him seriously anymore, and myself included. And so you got to be careful, but there's still a lot of people. He's got a lot of followers, but people need to think for themselves and be able to come up with logical reasons to accumulate. Now, what's going on at the COMEX and the delivery contracts and what's happening there is something that certainly could play a big role, and we could see the price move up. But I don't think it's going to get to $60 at all this year. I would be shocked if it reached my prediction of $39. I have revised my prediction, and that's a pretty bullish prediction considering how much fight there is left in whatever it is that's keeping the price of silver down. Of course, a lot of people equate it to the big bullion banks and the high-frequency trades that occur, especially over in the overnight hours, and we've seen that happen before. But nonetheless, there's other natural market forces that are at play as well that have a dramatic impact, especially with day-to-day movement of the price of silver. And then we're going to be watching all of that. It's fascinating to see what's going on out there in the world of silver and the price of it. But no matter what happens with silver, it remains a store of value over the long course of time, and it has performed quite well. But will it explode in July? I don't think so. I think we could see it maybe tick up a bit. And it is possible that we may see some of these contracts, some of them being rolled over, some of them taking delivery. I don't know. But there's pressure. The pressure is on, no question, with these prices. Moving in a different direction, forming new support, maybe around $35, $36 an ounce. It's a very good thing. You know, with Robert Kiyosaki selling all of his precious metals and buying Bitcoin with it, he's now saying that silver is going to explode in July and Bitcoin price will collapse. So he's all over the place. And it's really kind of unfortunate. It's hard to take somebody seriously, no matter how big of a name they are, no matter how many books they've written. It just is. It just goes to show you, folks, that always do your own due diligence and research in the world of precious metals, and look at it in spite of and ahead of and on the back end of what it does from day to day. Silver never changes. In terms of its physical properties and what it has been for thousands of years, a store of value. It is a monetary metal, believe it or not. It's just not active money. It's more commodity money. And when we realize that, it makes things a lot more digestible, and it takes a lot of the stress out of stacking silver as well. So there you have it. Now let me know what your thoughts are. Will silver prices explode in July? I doubt it. Do you think they will? But no matter what, July very well could be a big month for the metal. We'll see how it all plays out. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.